We live?
We're live. John's already here. John, we're doing it. We're going live. John's here. Hello, John. We're gonna be
Hi, John.
we're gonna be showing your meme today. How are you feeling today? John did not have COVID, but it might have been the flu. He's not been feeling well.
A little better. Well, that's good. Pop out the chat real quick. Put that where I need it. So that I can look straight ahead. As if I'm talking to all of you at once.
I don't make eye contact with the camera.
It's kind of weird when you do, right? It's a little
Yeah,
creepy.
it's weird. I just don't do it.
Like if I'm staring right at the camera, it's like, oh, what is he doing?
Check your make. Well, that picture you sent me, I told you to do the thumbs up. You're
Yeah.
not looking at the camera, so it looks like you're thumbs up, but like looking down at something. It's close. It's close. Oh man, you see my shirt today, guys? It's feeling very Disney inspired.
Squeak, 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 squeaking.
Squeak, squeaker, squeak, squeaking. It's great. I did watch The Hunchback of Notre Dame for about the millionth time the other day.
My brother's been trying to get me to rewatch that. Because as kids, we didn't love it. It wasn't one of our favorites. Like it wasn't like it was bad or anything, but it was not part of the rotation. Like we'd burn through Lion King and Hercules and Tarzan over and over and over again. But hi, Cat.
Hi, Kat.
But
Hi, Ricardo.
Hunchback didn't make it in there. Now my brother's saying like the music is some of the best in any Disney movie ever, and the story's much better than he remembered. And maybe it's just something that you appreciate more as an adult. Who knows? But I need to go back and watch it again.
But Lord Frollo's villain song, so good.
Is it better? Is it better than Scar's villain song?
No song is better than Scar's villain song.
Precisely.
Yeah, so I would say it's the second one though. I would say it's the
Okay,
second
that's
best
high
villain
praise.
song. Yeah. Let's see, Poor Unfortunate Souls is a good one.
That's a good one too. See, that would have been probably been my second.
What's another villain song?
I'm thinking through.
Yzma didn't have one. Maleficent didn't have one. The Evil
No,
Queen didn't have one.
not really. No, they sing songs, but like they're not like it's not like laying out their entire evil plan songs.
Yeah, those are the best ones. Wow. We'll talk more about that when we start talking about Encanto.
Well done, Jen.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to say it really slow to make sure I don't mess it up.
Encanto.
Makes it sound very dramatic.
Yes, we are going to talk about Encanto.
Oh, perfect. Yes, exactly. I like it. Hi,
channeling,
Jess.
channeling a little Zorro voice in there.
Made myself a refreshing glass of iced tea and all the ice melted. So now it's kind of just room temperature tea.
It's room temperature tea. People might just call that tea.
Shut up, Jet.
Well, you can put it outside. Let's see. What temperature are we down to already? Is it starting to get cold already?
Are you busy Saturday?
Me?
Yeah.
I have no idea, honestly.
I guess it is only Wednesday.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff up in the air that may or may not mean I'm busy Saturday, or maybe completely wide open. I may be wide open every Saturday.
Oh no.
Joanna had to pick up a second job, uh,
Oh.
and no, so she's going to be working on Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh no.
So yeah, so we'll see.
How did your bathroom painting go?
It's good. The bathroom is painted
What color did you paint it?
a lighter shade of white than what was in there previously.
Very
So
adventurous of you.
yeah, super adventurous. No, I mean I didn't want to change it completely. I liked the bathroom fine. There was just like the previous owners did not take good care of that room, and like when we first bought the house, like when we went to look at it first time, there was towel rack and a toilet paper holder and all this stuff that you would expect, like shelves, things you would expect to find in a bathroom. And then when we actually moved in, all those things were gone. They took all that stuff with them. and they just like quickly plastered over the holes in like the sloppiest way possible. So this part of this was sanding down all the horrible repair jobs they did and then repainting it.
Well, that's good. It makes you feel accomplished. You got something done,
Yeah,
and now
we
you walk
accomplished
in there,
something.
and it's very nice. So,
And it is. I like that it's brighter. I know that's not a super adventurous color choice or anything like that, but just making it brighter. I don't know. It's not like I spend a whole lot of time in there, but now it's not so. I don't know, dreary.
yeah, it's for guests. Put some potpourri in there.
Yeah, and we're gonna put in some shelves and and things with classic decoration knickknacks and whatnot. Like a big letter U. Yeah.
I was like urinal, but
Yes, but
yeah,
no, my last name is Ulrich.
yeah. You should definitely represent your last name in the bathroom.
No, I was just like, that's the sort of stuff you see in, you know, home decor magazines. It's always, a picture of your family, the first letter of your last name, and then like a candle, and that's what you see on shelves in bathrooms.
My aunt did have monogrammed towels, but you weren't allowed to use them because they were the special fancy monogram towels. But it had a D on there for their last name, so I guess
Those towels were just for the D.
the D and the B. All right, Jeffrey, are you ready to start talking about things today?
I'd love that.
Okay, great. Well, the first thing we're going to talk about is Encanto.
Well done again, Jen.
Thanks. So, I'm asking you, Jeff, what did you think about this one?
Okay.
This was it was a Disney movie. It was a Disney movie. Okay, so.
And that's usually a good sign for you.
Well, no, it's usually a terrible sign.
Well, these days, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
You used to love Disney, and now Disney's done you wrong, huh?
I think it just started with Frozen. It was a steady decline ever since then.
Steady decline? That you thought this was worse than Frozen?
No, we haven't talked about. I said it has been. It has been.
Okay, well, so then I'm still mad. You thought Moana was worse than Frozen?
I only watched it once. I haven't seen Raya though.
Raya is good, but not super memorable. I enjoyed it, but I haven't had any desire to go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
And not because it was like so fulfilling the first time that like I don't want to change that experience. I'll just probably never watch it again.
I need to see it at least once. I should watch it.
Yeah, you should watch it.
Just once.
Like I said, it was pretty good. But yeah, Encanto. I was excited for this. I was really looking forward to the music. Lin-Manuel Miranda did music for this movie.
I don't know who that is. Who is that?
He wrote Hamilton.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I didn't know that.
And In the Heights, which I watched last year. So he also did the music for Moana. So
that's interesting.
So he's excellent. So I was really looking forward to that. The music in this, and the like sort of supernatural family thing that's kind of cool. Kind of gave me some Incredibles vibes. Superpowered family members and whatnot. So I was very, very excited to see this, and I enjoyed it. But a lot like Raya, I'm not sure it was enough to make me ever want to watch it again. What do you think, Jen?
So I actually thought it was pretty good. I just, full on expected to hate it, but I didn't hate it. It was pretty good. I will never watch it again, that's for sure. I thought there were too many songs. Maybe because I didn't really. I don't know if I just didn't really like the music. When I was listening to The Hunchback of Notre Dame, I was making this comment that, like, the thing about classic Disney movies like that is it's so dramatic and so theatrical, and it's just like this vision of just drama, right? But now it's more like pop music. And so thought the music was pretty boring. And then at some point, every time they started a new song, I'd be like, oh my God, here we go, another song.
I think
But
for the most part, for me, the music wasn't as memorable as I was hoping it would be.
yeah.
Because like with Moana, there are songs from that I legitimately downloaded and listened to regularly because I really like those songs. And that's the same with a lot of Disney movies. I will download the songs that I love and add them to my rotation because I really enjoy Disney music. With this, honestly, like there's some songs that I really related to, like what they were talking about in the songs, but the music wasn't so amazing that I was like, oh yeah, that's a bop. I'm gonna add that to the playlist, you know. And plus, TikTok has just absolutely killed. We don't talk about Bruno.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it's everywhere on TikTok. I'm not. I don't know how people keep coming up with new ways to use it. It's
That's why I just avoid TikTok.
well, that's why you avoid most social media in general.
That's true. That's true. Wordle is kind of being a thing on Twitter
Have you
right
tried it?
now. I actually do. I play Wordle,
I play it every day.
but I don't
I don't tell anybody.
I don't tell anybody about it, which I guess that's what you want to do. That's fine, but I'm really sick of it. So,
Yeah, it's just one thing on Wordle. It's fun. I think you should try it, but it is also one of those things that like no one cares that you had a good day in Wordle. Like enjoy it for yourself. The only time I want to see someone post is if they got it first or maybe even second guess. If you get it on the first two tries, fine. You can talk about it. Otherwise, you know what? Just enjoy your moment to yourself. Leave me out of it.
That's saying a lot for Jeff to be like, just fucking don't tell me about that shit.
Jen, it's everywhere.
I know. I don't know how to. Apparently, you can mute a word on Twitter so you never see it, but I don't know how. So I haven't been able to mute Wordle. But
a friend of mine today got it on one. He used the same starter word every time, and it just happened to be his starter word today.
See, that's cheating. I always use a different word. It's cheating to use the same one.
No, it's strategy.
No, that's no fun. Life is better when you don't have a strategy.
I don't think that's the case.
You're not very adventurous then, Jeff, huh?
Well, not always, but in any case, let's get back to Encanto.
Yeah.
Were there any songs that stuck out to you that you did enjoy?
No. Just no. Visually it looked amazing.
Yeah.
It was very beautiful.
Vibrant colors and all that.
Yeah. I appreciated, the theme, and I don't know, it's kind of just gotten to the point to where there's nothing surprising about it. Like, there was nothing new or interesting. The plot was pretty basic. The characters were pretty basic. There was nothing really exciting about it.
You weren't surprised by Bruno's appearance in the house?
I mean, they kind of showed glimpses of him.
Okay, so
before.
yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty subtle. So like you might like if I can see how it might not have been a complete surprise, but I still think it was set up in a cool way that it was still satisfying. I don't know. I thought that was one of the highlights.
Well, my favorite thing about it actually was there was no plucky dumbass sidekick. There was not a single character that was just a fucking dumbass to be funny. Everybody was pretty, I wouldn't say necessarily smart, but Olaf
no one was
is a fucking idiot.
No one was a bumbling idiot.
Yeah, and I'm just really sick of that. So that made me like it a lot. My one complaint, okay, well, I don't want to do a spoiler, but I didn't like the ending.
Okay. I can you say like kind of what it was about the ending you didn't like without talking about the ending in particular?
I think you're just gonna have to, John, if you haven't seen it and you don't want to spoil. If you don't want a spoiler, it's not really like there's not like a spoiler like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened, But the whole movie is about the family. Okay, he's muted. The family, it has like abilities and powers. So the whole movie, they're losing their abilities and their powers. And then the end of the movie, they're all like, we're a happy family with or without powers. We'll love each other. And like, that was like the whole point. And then they get their powers back at the end of the movie. It's like, why couldn't they? They're supposed to be happy without powers. That's the realization. But then they get them back in the end, so they learned nothing. They should have.
Yeah, well, I think they still learned. So it's like one of those things like they learned the lesson, and they get their powers back. So like they've learned not to be reliant on them, or they've learned to rely on each other more than they rely on their individual abilities. Or
Well, they don't. You don't know. They don't continue on with the story, so maybe they didn't learn anything. Maybe they just went back to normal. You never know.
This again illustrates our worldviews pretty clearly.
So anyway,
yeah, they probably learned their lesson and they go on to be a better family and they're stronger for it. And you're like, no way.
Yeah.
Man, those jerks. They started picking on her again immediately.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have powers for what, like a couple of hours, and then it was like
melted. Yeah.
Got the house back, got the family back, got their powers back. There was no lesson learned. Nothing happened.
I just thought that the actual like climax with the candle and everything was it just didn't have that pop. Like it wasn't something like just like wow, what a great moment. Like so that was my disappointment with the ending. But I think that's it for things that we're going to spoil. Unless you have more you want to. So
no.
we'll give John a thumbs up to come back.
Okay.
But I was going to say that my disappointment, and again, I enjoyed the movie overall, so it's not a huge disappointment. I just feel like they could have fleshed out some of the relationships a little more, because it's very much like they tell you what the relationships are between people. They don't show you. So like the dynamic between each of the sisters, they just kind of tell you, here's our dynamic. So you don't actually get to spend a whole lot of time with them. So then when you get the catharsis of their arc, it's not as powerful.
But if they would have done that, then the movie would have been longer, and it definitely did not need to be longer.
Well, so my counterpoint would be give me more conversations with the sisters and less song.
Okay, agree. Yes, I didn't. I thought there were too many songs, so I definitely agree with that.
But yeah, so overall, I thought it was a lot of fun, and like you said, it was absolutely beautiful. So I don't have a lot negative to say about anything of the visuals or anything. It's really just kind of nitpicking for me on like, well, I could have used a little more of blank, or I wish the music was a little less poppy and a little more orchestral at times, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Again, that would add to the drama, I think.
Yeah.
That you were missing from it as well.
I guess I didn't feel it. Like, I don't know. I just didn't feel like an, oh my God, oh no. Like, okay. I just didn't feel sorry for them. You know what I mean? I don't know. So,
I get that.
Yeah, it was.
I felt bad for Louisa, the muscular sister. Like during her song there at the beginning.
Her song was pretty depressing.
It's pretty sad. Like she really is carrying the weight of the entire town on her shoulders, and thank God she's got super strength because they are crushing her.
Yeah, that was definitely probably the best song because that was the most real. You actually did feel sorry for her. So that was probably definitely my favorite character, and that definitely the best song.
And biggest highlight for me was that moment as well.
Yeah.
But so, well, what would you rate it?
I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay, that's pretty solid.
That's pretty solid for a modern Disney movie.
And unsurprisingly, I gave it an 8. So.
Yeah, I was kind of going back and forth, but when I consider if I were to compare it against classic Disney movies, even those ones that I would give an 8, this was still a little bit less. So.
When's the last time you went back and watched some of those?
One of what?
Like the classic Disney movies.
Well, I just watched Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Right.
2 days ago.
I mean, like the ones from 40s, 50s, 60s.
I watch The Rescuers pretty frequently. That's in my top 3 favorite.
That's one of your
Disney
favorites.
Movies. Yeah, so I watch that one pretty regularly.
It used to be your favorite, right? Did something overtake it?
Beauty and the Beast is always my favorite.
Oh, okay. That's right.
So Rescuers I think is number 2 if I had to pick one. I watched the Many Adventures of Winnie, or not Many Adventures, but Winnie the Pooh. I watched that like a month or 2 ago.
I love Winnie the Pooh.
I love
such a feel good character.
I know. I love Winnie the Pooh. It makes me so happy. You just can't
Right?
help but be
That's kind
happy
of the
when
point.
yeah.
Did you see the live action Christopher Robin movie?
No, but I heard it was good.
I loved it. A
Yeah.
lot of people hated it.
Oh, really?
So it's like one of those polarizing. It's either you really loved it or you really hated it.
I'll have to watch it. Is it sad?
Parts of it are quite sad. Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah,
I cried in the Tigger movie. That was pretty sad.
yeah. So that's one that you might want to watch here in the future as well. But Encanto, pretty good. I think it's a step in the right direction overall for Disney animation. Uh, in that it is not Frozen, and because I don't want to get into it, but like my biggest complaint about Frozen is that it feels like they just kind of force songs in there and they force things into the story just so that they can have a song about it, like the little rock trolls, like that. I don't know. There's a lot of that in that movie, and that rubs me the wrong way. At least with Moana and with Encanto, I felt like every song served a purpose, even if Encanto it made the movie a little long or the songs ran a little long. I don't feel like anything was wasted for me, anyways.
I don't know. I feel like there were unnecessary songs.
Yeah, like which one?
I don't know. I don't remember. I didn't take notes.
Well, so that's probably an indicator that they weren't necessary for
yeah.
you. You don't know them.
I don't.
We don't have to dwell on it.
Yeah, I don't remember. But it was 7. It was a 7. I gave it a 7. It was, but I wasn't disappointed though. I was definitely expecting like a 4. So I was pleasantly surprised that I didn't hate it.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
Well, if you ask me, we should move on to the next topic.
All right, Jeff. Well, I did not watch this. So, Jeff.
And honestly, I'm a little sad that you haven't. I know that we only decided what we were talking about, like yesterday.
Yeah.
But
I did. I woke up and watched Encanto this morning. So I literally just watched it. And I can't even remember anything about it. So, yeah. Probably should have taken notes.
Your memory is something else.
I know. I'm a special person. Okay.
Well, so the next thing we're talking about is The Legend of Vox Machina.
Yes.
Do you know anything about this, Jen?
All I know is that it has something to do, sort of, with the people that do Critical Role, which I have also never seen. Not
just sort of. It is entirely based on their adventures in Critical Role.
So if you listen, is this like just an animated version of their
this is an
show?
Animated version of the first season of Critical Role. So like their first adventure. I don't know if it's going to cover all of that in one season or if they're going to, or if they're going to tell new stories, but there is stuff in here already that is based on events that took place in their games. So I watched...
Have you seen Critical Role? Like, have you
seen what I was about to say. I've watched about 14 episodes of Critical Role, and it's watching a D&D game, right? So, especially back then, they weren't edited super well. In fact, I don't even know if they were edited at all. They have, like, a huge intermission in the middle of the videos where they went to go, have snacks or, bathroom breaks and all that stuff. So there's, like, a 30-minute intermission in the middle of the YouTube video. So it's a D&D game. You've played bunches of them over the years, Jen. So you know that not everything is like it doesn't move at the pace of like watching a TV show.
Yeah.
So each episode was like even if you cut out the breaks and everything, each episode of Critical Role was like 3 hours. Which me, I am I consume a lot of media. And so dedicating 3 hours per episode to Critical Role ended up being more than I was willing to do because that was 3 hours that I couldn't be watching. I could watch 2 movies in that time, right? Or I could watch, 6 episodes of a TV series. So I fell off on Critical Role. But when I did, it wasn't because I didn't enjoy it. It was excellent. Matt Mercer is a hell of a DM. And do you know what like Critical Role is kind of about? Like what its purpose was? So everyone on there are professional voice actors. They voice actors for movies, TV shows, and video games, and they were already playing together for like a year before they decided they would start recording it for Geek and Sundry at the time. And Matt Mercer was the DM. He, you know, his ability to jump between the characters' voices during the campaigns when like he's voicing multiple characters is incredible. He has like I don't know he's I mean I'm just so impressed by him as a voice actor. But it's not just him. I know you're not always great with names, but are you familiar with Laura Bailey?
Nope.
Or Ashley Johnson?
Nope.
Ashley Johnson's from The Last of Us.
Nope.
Nope.
I didn't play it. I don't know.
And Laura Bailey's from friggin' everything. But yeah, so in any case, they're all in terms of voice actors, they're all pretty popular voice actors, and they only got more popular on the coattails of the success of Critical Role. So excellent cast, really well voiced. This show is funnier than watching the campaign. Like the campaign, there's moments of absolute hilarity watching Critical Role's campaigns, but this show is scripted, right? So it's more purposefully humorous at times, and it's I think it's very funny. I like the animation. I don't think it's. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the animation for Invincible. Did you watch any of that?
Oh yeah, I watched Invincible.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little smoother than the animation in Invincible, but it has some similarities there. It is also an Amazon Prime TV show, so I don't know if that's a coincidence or what. But I like the artwork, and the characters are fun, and the plot is that they're kind of garbage adventurers. Like they're not great people. It is the same team as Invincible. Okay. That's what John said in the chat. But so I think you kind of like it because they're not all like goody two shoes adventurers. Like they're shady individuals for the most part.
Is anybody chaotic evil? That's all I want to know.
Yeah, chaotic evil? No, probably not. There's a lot of chaotic good. Like a lot of chaotic good. They're very, very chaotic. But it's also this cartoon was way more violent than I was expecting, which of course fits a D&D campaign well. But I was surprised to see it in the cartoon version of the campaign. But now that I know it's the same team that did Invincible, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But it's super fun on the first 3 episodes. It tugs at your heartstrings just a little bit in a couple of moments to kind of set up motivations for characters and things. But it's not overly dramatic or anything like that. I think it's really great, and I really hope you'll give it a shot because I know you love that sort of world. You love the fantasy D&D games that we did, or like World of Darkness and that sort of stuff. And I think you could get into this possibly.
Well, I definitely will not watch it episode by episode. So maybe once the season is over.
Once the season's done.
But I will never listen to or watch Critical Role. I don't enjoy watching other people do things that I wish I could do. Like I wish I could play D&D, but it's not a thing. Nobody's committed. Everybody just gives up. I make all these characters. Well, when was the last time we played a game together?
It's been a while,
yeah. But you have your weekly game.
I have one weekly game that I play in. I have one monthly game, 2 monthly games that I play in, and then 1 monthly game that I run. See. So I play a lot of D&D.
I have no
To be
friends.
fair, when I started, I had started a weekly game. This was like 6 years ago. I invited you and a couple other of our friends, and at the time, y'all were too busy.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I tried.
Well, with work, you play like after work, right?
Yeah, we were playing on Fridays after work.
Yeah. It's hard scheduling with everybody too. But I would play a World of Darkness game. That's my favorite. Nobody ever wants to do that though, but
you get someone to run it, I'll play with you.
Yeah, I wish I could DM, but I can't. I really suck at it. My memory is so terrible. I can't remember anything. I can't do voices. I can hardly pronounce words correctly. I'm not a very good DM. I'm not good at thinking on my feet.
I think you don't give yourself enough credit in terms of thinking on your feet. I think you panic a little bit when you have to think on your feet, but then you always come up with something good.
Well, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like, oh, It's my turn. I can't do it. And then you just do something awesome.
Yeah, but I remember we were playing World of Darkness and I was DMing and there was an ambulance and then somebody was like, "Oh, I grabbed this," and I was like, "I don't. Is that in a normal ambulance? I don't even know if that's there." So I'm not very worldly knowledgeable. I think to know these
By the
kind
way,
of things.
I just realized I was being kind of loud there, and I forgot to ask: did you ever lower the volume on me on Discord so that I don't sound so poppy on your channel?
Nope.
Because no one in chat ever says anything about it. But
Well, you
yeah.
sound fine to me. I don't know. I
Oh,
turned
thanks,
it.
Jen.
All right, I turned it down. I don't know if.
Well, John. Let us know in chat if I sound better.
So yeah, but I'm glad you like it. I know a lot of people. Oh, look, see now I fucked it up. Oh, there we go. I know Critical Role is very popular, and everybody really. I'll probably watch it once the whole thing is over with. Yeah. So I mean, I liked Invincible, and I like D&D. I definitely think there is something I think about watching it while they're playing because it is that quick-witted. You can really appreciate that stuff, which is going to be more interesting in my opinion than a scripted show. But I definitely don't have the patience to sit there for 3 hours and listen to them play D&D.
I believe that they have since released some like summary episodes where like where that's like they heavily edit things down so that you get the gist a little bit. So you could maybe check those out. But I know Chase, our friend Chase, has gotten really into it recently. He's been watching the newest season a lot and he loves it. And like I said, if it was broken down into smaller segments, then I probably would give it a shot. But I don't know. It's weird. Like if they took the same 3 hour episode or 4 hour episode and divided it into 4 episodes, I would probably watch it. But because it's in 3 hour increments, for some reason that's too much for me.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, Jeff.
I know.
Well, when it's over, we'll do a little review episode. And once the whole season's out, then I'll watch it and we'll talk about it again.
John, do you think Jen would like it? You said you and Bendo have enjoyed it.
I think that's unfair. I'm a little. I don't know. I probably will hate it because everybody else likes it, but that's not true. I'm not that bad, but
You're not that contrarian.
No, I don't know. I guess I think I definitely would enjoy it more. Yeah, I'm very hard to guess for, but I think I would definitely enjoy it more than listening to or watching them live
play the game.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe you'll still appreciate that since the show is based on things that happen in the game, you might still kind of have a subconscious appreciation for their quick-witted and clever responses and stuff. In particular, I think you will either absolutely love or despise Scanlan the Bard, because there's a lot of aspects about him that remind me of Taylor.
Oh no.
Taylor, when he's like his characters in game.
Yes, his characters in games are always very outlandish, always getting into trouble.
Yeah, definitely always getting into trouble.
Are they 30-minute or 45-minute episodes or
30-minute episodes?
30-minute episodes?
Yeah, I think that's right.
That's not bad. How do they condense like an episode that's like 3 or 4 hours into only 30 minutes?
I don't know, because combat in D&D, like, what would take 5 seconds to show, like,
oh my gosh,
on television is spread out over an hour and a half of gameplay.
See, I couldn't imagine watching that live gameplay.
I'm just comparing it to my D&D games. My parties take forever during combat. You always say, "Oh, be ready. Your turn's coming up. Be ready for your turn." And then they say, "Well, I was ready, but then the person before me did blank, and that changed everything." Like, okay, did it really? You're a barbarian. You're supposed to run up and hit with the sword. What did it really change that much?
It's all about strategy, Jeff.
Well, yeah, so that's The Legend of Vox Machina. Based on the first 3 episodes, I am currently sitting at like a 9.5 out of 10.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's pretty high.
I'm very, very, very much enjoying it.
And you don't feel like you missed out because you haven't been listening to the campaign.
Right, yeah, exactly. I didn't finish the campaign, and like the first episode, the first, I guess, 2 episodes didn't even actually take place in the campaign that was on YouTube. It was stuff from like that they came up for the show as like setup. The episode 3 was the first one that was kind of based on some stuff that happened in the stream.
I wonder, do you know how many episodes it's supposed to be?
I guess I can check. It's going to be 12 for the first season.
I wonder if that will encompass the entire season of their show.
I doubt it's going to cover the entire first campaign, because this Vox Machina was the name of their crew, and the second season of Critical Role they had all new characters, so it's going at least 5 seasons, they said. And you know what? I have no doubt that they're actually going to deliver on that, because the Critical Role fan base is so fervent that they're going to watch every episode of this, probably the same way that like League of Legends fans are going to watch Arcane forever. As long as they keep making it, they'll keep watching it, because they're just diehard fans. So I think they have that built-in fan base that'll be good for this show's longevity.
Wow. I think Arcane was good because you could enjoy it whether or not you had played League of Legends before.
And I think that's the same with this.
There's a lot of context because none of that is actually in the game. So it's a whole story and new characters and stuff like that. So keeps it interesting for people even that have played it. So I'm very curious to see this translation between their stream and $9 million to play D&D. I wish. If
I could get someone to pay me $5 a game, that would be great. Like I said, I play every week, so that's plus my 3 monthly games. I just made $35.
Wow, that's a dinner somewhere. Very nice dinner.
Right, that's a nice dinner.
Yeah.
Speaking of $5, if you haven't already subscribed to Jennifer Van Damsel on Twitch,
or Jeffrey Good Game Grizz, you could subscribe to him too. He's been streaming a lot recently.
I have been. I'm getting back into it.
Yeah.
Well, so that's The Legend of Vox Machina. I don't have anything else to say on it at this time, other than I highly recommend people give it a shot. The first 3 episodes are available now. Next one comes out on the 4th. So give it a shot.
I will. I will wait for the season to be over, and I will watch it, and then we will talk about it again.
What are we talking about now, though, Jen?
Okay, well, right now, so Jeff hasn't seen this. Jeff would not like this.
Okay, so I was curious about this. I've seen the trailer for this show.
Okay, so I just recently watched on Netflix Archive 81. Jeff would not like this at all. It definitely is really weird and really creepy and has like cult type things. All the things Jeff hates.
Yeah.
But
I'm a big fan of cults. Don't know anyone who is, though, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I don't know.
You're a fan of cults, Jen?
I mean, I was interested in this one for sure. I was, I was open. But actually, so I did have a nightmare after watching a couple episodes of the show.
Oh, see, no, that's a no-go for me.
See, that's what, as soon as I was like, oh no, Jeff would not like this show. I
can put up with horror stuff, like when I'm watching it. I don't get that scared while I'm watching it, but then my brain just absolutely tears me apart when I'm sleeping. And I like sleeping, guys.
And some, like, parts of it are the 2 main characters kind of interacting during, like, while they're sleeping. So there is like a whole dream aspect to it. And I wouldn't even I wouldn't necessarily call it, like, I guess technically it is horror, but it's just creepy. Like, it's really
psychological.
Yeah, and like we were talking about a killing of a sacred deer, how it just kind of makes you uncomfortable. This show definitely makes you uncomfortable because they don't explain it's a very slow burn, I would say. Starts off really slow, a lot of dialogue, not a lot happens. It's not like really an action show or anything, but it definitely started better than it ended. I was very interested. I really liked the direction it was going. It was just vague enough to keep you interested. There are some like CGI kind of graphic stuff that wasn't very good. So you do just kind of have to go, all right, we're just going to follow you on this because it doesn't look great, but it's very interesting, and you definitely want to know what is going on. It's about this guy who has like mental health issues, and he gets hired by a billionaire that's very secretive to go through these old cassette tapes and repair them, because there is some sort of, they want to know, there was a fire in this apartment building and this woman recorded everything, and they're trying to determine, what she was exploring and what she was learning and why what happens to her. Right. So it's a mystery about what happened to her through these videotapes. So he's watching them, and the videotapes are creepy. It's like a mystery. So you kind of learn that she kind of starts learning about a cult in the building. And so that kind of escalates. And I'm not very good at explaining things. I should have just read the synopsis to you or something like that. But anyway, you read it. There you go. You have it?
The synopsis on IMDb. An archivist hired to restore a collection of tapes finds himself reconstructing the work of a filmmaker and her investigation into a dangerous cult.
Oh,
That's
wow.
basically what you said.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that was definitely more,
Succinct?
Succinct, yeah. Yeah, they didn't say like or as much as I did. But...
Also, shout out to Climate Troll. Hi, how are you doing? And Anime Weeb 88, first time in the chat. Hello.
Hi, Doomy. Hi, Anime Weeb. First time here. Hopefully, well, okay. So Archive 81. It starts off really good. I will say the first 5 episodes, super interesting. I'm giving it probably a 9. But the last 2 episodes, I really did not like the direction they took it. I did not like where they went with it. They kind of changed the whole point of the show, whereas he's watching the tapes and learning about her through the tapes. So it's vague and interesting because you're only seeing what he's seeing.
You're getting the same information that he's getting.
Right. But then the end of it, they really just go off the rails. It's definitely more not just through the tapes. It's actually, you're following her character around and all this stuff. But I don't know. Last 2 episodes were really so disappointing because I feel like it had its own identity, and then it really just flipped it and made it very...
I was curious if this show was based on a book or something like that. And I have found on IMDb that it is a remake of a podcast.
That's interesting.
Archive 81 was a fiction podcast about horror, cities, and the subconscious. So there you go. It's a TV show based on a podcast.
It's like one of those, what do you call, where they act in the story?
Yeah, I think it's a fictional thing.
Oh, okay. So...
I gotta say, Climate Troll says, remake of what? This is the decline of Western civilization. There was a movie that came out last year that was based on a series of tweets about a bad night for some strippers in Florida. It was based on tweets. The first movie based on tweets. So that was the decline of Western civilization.
But was it interesting? I mean, the story. Strippers.
I went and read the tweets. That story was nuts. So I can see why they made a movie out of it, for sure.
But I never believe anything I read on the internet. I don't know if any of that stuff actually happened.
Yeah, look it up. I'm going to look up what the name of that movie was. But continue, Jen. So tell us more about Archive 81.
I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it just because the last... Oh, and then it did set it up, I think, for a sequel, which was really not necessary at all. They ended up doing... they start seeing each other, the main character watching the tapes and the girl that recorded the tapes. It's, like a 40-year difference, but then they start interacting with each other through their dreams, and that becomes more and more frequent. So it becomes less about the tapes and more about... And it took all the uniqueness and mystery out of it. So
they ended up revealing too much for you in the last 2 episodes?
Well, it stops being like you watching him watch the tapes, and it was just like the events that happened to
Right.
her. And then, so that was like the reason why I liked it, because I don't know how to explain it, but because it's not, you're getting the first person viewpoint, you're actually following her character around, and it's the events that actually happened to her. So it stops being about the perspective of the tapes. So you're not, when you're watching the tapes, you're like, oh wow, okay, well, what did they leave out? What didn't she record? And now the whole episode is actually what happened. So it takes that mystery out of it. And then I didn't even like it, just the way they went with it.
So is there like, would you have been satisfied if they didn't show you what had actually happened?
Well, I guess
Like, is there a way that the story could have made sense if they didn't ever show you what actually happened?
I would have preferred it more for him to have gone and explored. He's stuck in this house. This billionaire puts him in this house, and that's where he watches and fixes all of these videos. So I would have preferred him to like have left the house and actually started researching this event on his own. Maybe him actually interviewing people and following up about like what happened to her, like an investigation. But it does not go into an investigation anymore, and they just show you like what happened.
That's kind of lame.
Yeah, so it took the whole mystery out of it. And then, but I will say the acting was pretty good. The main character, the main guy, his acting was a little just
Mamoudou Athie. That was the actor who played Dan Turner.
Yeah, just a little, not a lot going on, not a lot of emotion, not a lot of expressive facial anything. He was just kind of very bland. But everybody else, very good. I think the dialogue was pretty good. The cult leader was very creepy. There are moments that you're like, oh wow, like that's pretty crazy that happened. But so I liked everything about the show except for the last like 2 episodes. But then it really ruined the whole like point of it. So it's a toughie. I really liked it. I really, really did. But then the last 2 episodes totally ruined it. And if you don't
think
like,
is this one of those things that like you didn't like, but you could see how other people might, or?
Well, they changed it. I mean, they changed the way they were telling the story. They kind of changed what was unique about it. So the part that made me interested in it, they changed it.
They abandoned that.
Yeah. And so it was kind of a little bit more straightforward instead of mysterious, which...
That's too bad.
Yeah. And I love things about cults and dark demon evil things.
Is it like Death Note, where you could watch the first, you said 8 episodes, and then just stop watching and that'd be enough? Like Death Note, you could watch, you remember Death Note?
Yeah.
There's like a clear point where there's a big shift.
Yeah.
And like if you had just stopped there, it's like a perfect show. And then you keep watching and it's a less perfect show.
Yeah, definitely drops off real fast. I guess you could, but then you don't get the resolution, because the whole point is he's trying to find out, oh, how did she die in this fire? But the thing is, they still don't even tell you, because they leave it open, the ending, to season have like 2. Another season. But it did not need a second season, so that was another really big disappointing thing. They could have just actually wrapped up the show, but they chose to make it open for like a second season, so you don't really even get the resolution.
It is based on a podcast, and apparently the podcast has 82 episodes, so they could probably stretch this into several seasons.
Yeah, I will say it would have made a great World of Darkness game for sure.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that would have been a very interesting one. But I can see, I guess, if it was a podcast or a World of Darkness game, having it continue going on. But I think the medium of like a TV show was not necessarily the right thing, because they literally
showed you too much.
They just showed you too much. Yeah, I can see. I think a podcast would probably have been more interesting, because you wouldn't have had that huge shift of visualization that they decided to go with instead. So,
Well, so if I were to ask you, Jen, what would you rate this?
oh, it's so hard because, like I said, the first episodes are like a 9, but then the last 2 episodes are. It's not that those episodes were bad, but it's just they changed it so much that it wasn't even like they changed like the format of the
It's not the same
show.
show.
It's just not the same show. So I don't know. Maybe I would recommend. I think I would recommend. I changed my mind. I think I would recommend you watch it because it is a good story. It's interesting. The acting is good. It definitely there is a mystery that makes you curious and keep one. It's slow though. It's definitely a slow burn. But I would
That can be
recommend.
even more terrifying with horror stuff. You know,
Yeah,
a
it
slow burn
definitely.
can really scare you.
It was really creepy for sure. That's why I guess I was so disappointed. It just became less creepy, I guess, because it's not the vagueness or the mystery of just like the tapes. So I don't know. I guess if you like horror stuff, if you like mystery, occult things, you might like it. Maybe it was just me. I didn't prefer the way that they transitioned into it, but maybe you would. So I think overall, I guess I'm just going to give it a 5 because I really liked the beginning and I hated the end, but it's not something that I would tell somebody, "Oh, never watch that. It was horrible." So, I think overall if we average it out, I'd give it a 5. I
I'd say
think
try it out,
try it
see if
out.
it's for you.
Yeah, you never know.
Not me though. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna watch
no, Jeff wouldn't like it. As soon as I was watching this and I was like, "Oh, maybe we can talk about this on the show." And as I kept going, I was like, "No, Jeff would not. I would not tell Jeff to watch this."
Although I am trying to branch out more for my podcast. Remember the film? In one of our upcoming episodes, we're going to do The Lighthouse. So
Oh,
and that's got some psychological stuff to it. So we'll
yeah.
see. Maybe I'm going to become a fan. Not likely.
Yeah. I that one I think it was just too weird for me. I'm very curious to see what you would say about that because it definitely is super weird.
Well, I did think it was interesting that your show was about a person with mental issues. When we also chose this week for our comic book to look into, we decided to read the first 4 issues of the 2021 run of Moon Knight.
This was my first introduction to Moon Knight. Well, other than you were telling me
A little bit
about the
about it.
character. So that was my first introduction. So I was
This
actually
is your first real experience with the character, though.
right. But what you explained to me about him definitely was a character I would definitely be super interested in. So I was curious about this when you suggested it. And I thought it was a great thing to suggest. And then I read it.
Yeah.
And it was just so boring. They did not go into his personality at all. It was a typical crime defeat, big plot. It was so basic. I don't know how else to say. It was just like the most basic comic book.
Yeah, it's pretty Marvel. Like this is very much a Marvel comic, which is interesting because I heard that the run before this was a lot more, introspective into the character, and so I thought maybe like they would continue that sort of thing. And it's not that I thought this was bad. It's just it wasn't special uh, in any way. The art is good, not unique, but good.
Well, I did like the
And
way they drew him.
he's awesome, and I love the way his costume always seems very bright.
Yeah.
No matter what he's wearing,
Yeah.
it seems supernaturally white.
Yeah, I did like the art.
Cool.
I thought it wasn't bad art, but just the way it was stylized, I really liked.
And I loved the cover arts in particular. Gave me like 90s Batman cover art, or I don't know, like, or even maybe some Spawn type
Yeah.
of inspiration for the cover art, which I think is cool for the cover art. I'm glad that's not what the pages look like, but the cover art 100% has Spawn vibes.
But I didn't like that actually.
No, you didn't even like the covers?
No, I didn't like the covers.
I think this is a top tier costume. I love the
Oh
look
yeah.
of Moon Knight.
Yeah.
And in particular, I love every cell that they show him flying through the city.
There's
Is
one panel where his cloak is out and it looks like a crescent moon and it is
exactly,
so
it's so
bright
good.
white. Yeah. Definitely the visuals. It was very good.
So there is some stuff to like about it, but unfortunately, the thing that makes Moon Knight as a character the most interesting to me, and I think would make him more interesting to Jen, is his internal struggles, which they deal with a little bit with him talking to his therapist and all that, but uh, it's almost in a joking manner a lot of the times, like not quite to the level of Deadpool level of self awareness, but you know, still very much, you know,
It's he
I
just
know it's crazy to say these things.
they just comment on it, but like in passing.
Yeah,
So it's kind of just like they mention it, but it's so casual. It doesn't make you seem like that's part of his character identity. It kind of just, oh, well, I've got dissociative disorder or whatever, but they
yeah.
don't.
They just tell you he has
Yeah,
dissociative identity disorder. They don't show any of his dissociative identities.
yeah.
And now maybe that's something that in the issues coming after this, maybe they will, because they do mention in these comics that he's purposefully never removing his mask because uh he doesn't want to be Mark Spector. He wants to just be Moon Knight. So that's why so obviously that's some of that is, I mean, it's interesting, but it's also not something that they dive into enough. And yeah, Big Smelly Bob in the chat.
Hi, not Bob.
Uh, a kind of weird mix of Deadpool and Batman. 100%. I can see that combination, and maybe even a dash of Rorschach in terms of his delusions of grandeur. Although I guess with Moon Knight, it's not even necessarily delusions because he literally is the fist the fist of a god. So
I'd I just I like I said, I didn't know anything about the character until you were telling me about it, and I found that very interesting. And I think a mix of Deadpool, Batman, Rorschach sounds very interesting. But this was like the most uninteresting comic ever. It was just so the plot was basic. There was nothing unique about like you could have made that a Batman story, and it would have you could have replaced him with almost any generic character in it.
especially since the villains are so one note
Yeah.
and cliche. Like there's like two villains that they introduce in these four issues.
And it's definitely villains because they're not
Yeah,
even like a big
like one
deal.
of them's not even really a villain. He's just
Yeah.
like, you're not doing your job, Moon Knight, and I'm here to make you do your job. Okay, so
Yeah.
all right,
And we read
cool.
4 issues. And in
Yeah.
4 issues, nothing happened. Like,
Now, there are some characters that we see in this that I think have potential to be interesting, like his assistant. Uh, Seems like she could be pretty cool. Her whole situation is interesting. She's like, she was forcibly turned into a vampire, and Moon Knight spares her uh, because he in the past he wouldn't have spared her, but now he realizes that she was kind of forced into it, and so like she's an innocent, and he's supposed to protect innocence. Um, Climate Troll says mainstream comics are all about monochromatic bullshit. I mean, I don't know if that's always the case, but it certainly is the case more often than I'd like it to be. And it's funny that he chose the term monochromatic when we're talking about Moon
Moon
Knight.
Knight.
I don't know if that was on purpose, but it's perfect. Um, I think I'm gonna go back and read the run of Moon Knight before this one, the one that I was telling you about that had like the really cool, striking covers that look like I mean, the look of the covers is enough to make me want to go back and read those. I think I want to go back and read those because I'm hoping that it is focusing a little more on his dissociative identity, which is what makes him a unique character in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm really hoping to find something that I am excited about because there's the Moon Knight TV show coming out, and I thought the trailer looked really cool. And Oscar Isaac is playing Moon Knight, and I think he's a fantastic actor. I'm just hoping that there's enough substance in the character to make something special out of the show. Because as much as I love the MCU, I am one of those people who likes when they don't completely break from their formula, but like will venture out of it a little bit. Like I loved Winter Soldier because it wasn't it wasn't just a beat 'em up movie. It wasn't a, but it was like a more of a a spy thriller storyline, right? Because they're running from they're hiding all that stuff. So I just like when they break from their mold just a little bit. Uh, I know Jen hates the MCU formula and would love for them to completely throw away the mold.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, what a perfect character to do that with than with
Sure.
this character. Because, they don't really have in the MCU one character that, has these mental health issues. And these are pretty big, like, it's a pretty big one.
Yeah, these are big ones. This isn't like Iron Man. They kind of touch on his alcoholism, but like only sort of in the MCU. Like that's something they didn't even broach that in the MCU as strongly as they do in the comics. And that's alcoholism, something that like a huge percentage of the population can relate to. They either know someone or they are one themselves. Uh, you know, and they didn't even feel like that was safe enough for them to discuss. So I don't know if they'll play it too safe with Moon Knight here as well. I'm hopeful because again, I like Oscar Isaac quite a lot, and I think that he does bring a lot to his performances. So I'm hopeful for the TV show, uh, but I'm hoping that when I go back and read the older run of Moon Knight, that I will find something more meaty and weirder. Like I want something just a I don't know. I was about to say a little bit weirder. I want it a lot weirder.
I want it weird. I want
I
it
want it weird.
weird. Give it to
I
me
want it weird.
weird.
Like there was one moment in these comics in these 4 issues where this guy's like, I'm gonna take over. I'm gonna take control of your brain, and then he's like, okay, fine, dude. I'm so messed up that is not a good idea for you, but let's do it. And then he does it, and it's really twisted in there. And so I want to see more of that, and less joking with my therapist about, oh, yep, I'm pretty messed up.
But even then, I agree that I really did expect, oh, he's about to go into his head. That's not a good thing. All right, let's see what happens. But it really even wasn't that elaborate. It only lasted like a couple of pages, and I would have liked to see like some imagery or some scenes of things that he's gone through.
And things like
yeah, but it wasn't. There was no description. There was no detail. You just have to believe. Oh yeah, he's so messed up, but they didn't really go into depth with that at all. So it was not really even believable.
I really do want them to do something special because I love this character design, like the actual design of Moon Knight so much that if you can't make a character that looks this cool, I don't know what you're doing in this business. He looks so cool. How are you messing this up?
Yeah. well, you'll have to read the prior issues and I'll have to look it up and just see if there's any great Moon Knight story arcs that really capture his character, because this was not it.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a continuing series, but they haven't released a issue since like October.
No, they haven't released an issue on Marvel Unlimited since October.
Oh, okay.
So they may have released, because Marvel Unlimited newer comics get added months later sometimes. Sometimes it's like the next month they get added, and then other times it's months later.
Okay.
So it's possible that they have released more issues, but that was all that was available on Marvel Unlimited.
Well, based on these 4 issues, I don't want to read it anymore.
So I'm kind of glad that we did it with Marvel Unlimited, because I was curious about this run. I wanted to read it, but now that I've read these 4 issues, I know that I don't need to keep going with this particular run.
Yeah.
But so let's give it a rating. Jen, what do you rate the first 4 issues of Moon Knight 2021?
See, it's hard because it wasn't that it was bad. It was just basic. It was
so that's like
boring.
a 5, right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I want to give it lower because I didn't like it at all, but it was just basic. It wasn't bad. There was just nothing interesting about it whatsoever. So I guess, I just have to give it a 5, I guess.
I'm going to give it a 5.5. and that half a point is for how freaking cool the character looks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with you. All right, we'll do a 5.5. We agree on that. Yeah, when I saw the screen of him in the air in his
The
cape, just
crescent
made,
moon cape.
oh man, that was so
I was like,
cool.
yes.
Yeah,
Like you just know that the creator, when they created Moon Knight, they're like, I want to make. They designed the character first
yeah,
because it's way too perfect. He looks
yeah.
awesome. Well, yeah, so that's Moon Knight. Um, but Jen, we already talked about how I'm getting more active in my streaming on Twitch again, twitch.tv/goodgamegrizz. Check it out. But you're also playing games more as well.
Yes. So, based on suggestions on my Twitter, I started playing Inscryption. So, we went on a little horror. We watched Disney and horror this week. So, we kind of got the whole spectrum. But so I don't know, Jeff. I don't know if you would like this game. I think you would like it, but it is kind of creepy. So if
I've
you,
watched a lot of gameplay and trailers for this.
oh, it's yeah, oh my god. So good thing John was there. I had a couple people come in my chat and I was expecting it to be complicated. So there's this part before you really even start the game and you're like exploring this room. And I was told it's a card game with puzzles. So I get in the game, I'm looking through this cabin and I see like, oh, this must be a puzzle. So I'm like exploring the room, trying to find the clues to solve all the puzzles, except there were not puzzles. There was just, we hadn't gotten to that part yet. So I was really making it way more complicated. And people had to be like, no, you're just supposed to go like sit in the chair. Just go sit in the chair. And
In
I was
the
like,
chair, play the game.
yeah. So I try to make it way more complicated than it was. But it's a card game. And if you've played something like Magic the Gathering, it definitely makes this a lot easier because, you know, you have your attack power and your health. And then there are like a lot of cards have abilities. And so it's pretty similar if you're familiar with Magic. I think it definitely helped me to know how to play it because I believe there was not really that much direction. It wasn't like a tutorial, really. Um, but I really liked it. I was really nervous when somebody said it was puzzles. I was like, I don't know, guys. I'm really too stupid for puzzles. I am not good at them at all. And I get really frustrated and flustered, especially when I'm streaming.
Say,
And
but
so
people love when you get flustered on
I
stream.
know, I
So.
know, I know. But that's why I was very happy that there were some people. They did let me go on for about 15 minutes before they were like, okay, just go sit in the chair. This is not what you're supposed to be doing. Grab a candle, and I'm like trying to solve all these puzzles and
Very
stuff.
respectful that they didn't want a backseat game.
Yes, yeah. It got
Until you made it very clear that they needed to.
yes, and but that's great. Definitely had comments that like, well, we're trying not to like hold your hand through it, but I'm like, but I definitely need that. Okay, guys, I need some help. Just tell me what I'm supposed to do now. But it was really fun. It was really good. I ended up playing it for like 4 hours straight. Apparently it gets even creepier than where I've gotten past. But I was pretty proud of myself because I had comments. I didn't lose a single game and I got past the second boss. And apparently the second boss was supposed to be really, really hard. I did narrowly scrape by on a couple of games, but I guess I'm just so good at card games and strategizing. And I was talking to myself. I was like talking through every single decision I made. Okay, well, if I play this, and then I can do this, and then if I put this card here, and so it's talking
the
it.
turn's not timed?
No,
thankfully.
Nice. Yes, thankfully they're not timed, or I would have been really screwed. But yeah, it ended up being really fun. Definitely a game that I would highly recommend to. I really also enjoy Triple Triad. So it was kind of reminded me of like a mix of Triple Triad and Magic. There you get to make like your own cards, so you'll sacrifice a card to take its ability and you can give it to a different card. So not only are you building your own deck, you're actually customizing your own cards. And there are some like mini puzzles throughout the room that you can pause and go do that. But I really liked it. I thought it was great, and I do love creepy things. So, and it wasn't like scary, no like jump scares or anything like that.
Right. It was like the kind of scare you enjoy.
Yeah, I don't like jump scares. People like for me to get jump scared, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah, this was from Dan Mullins Games is the developer. Publisher is Devolver Digital, and I'm always curious when games come out from Devolver because they they publish a lot of indie games essentially. So they have a wide variety of games that they'll publish, and sometimes they are just garbage that they're like, okay, let's sure, we'll publish it, why not? And then other times it's like a little secret hit like Inscryption, because I've heard now from you as well as my friends over at 61indie.com, who are like their whole thing is indie games. They absolutely loved this game, and most people have been saying try it out. And I'm like, it looks a little scary for me, but I will encourage other people who enjoy that scary stuff to give it a shot. And I think it's a really interesting idea, blending the card game with essentially an escape room mechanic. That's it's two different sorts of puzzles when you think about it, right?
Yeah. My only complaint, I did have one big complaint about the game, is there are cards that have flying. So if you do not, like in Magic, you have a character or a card that has flying. Well, one that does not have flying can't block it because it just flies over. Well, if you have two cards that both have flying, then they can block each other. Except for in this game, that is not the case. Both of your cards could have flying, and they still cannot block each other, which I found very frustrating because it doesn't make any sense. But
I don't know. I mean, if you're moving in 3 dimensions like that, a little harder to block, right?
no, that's not how it
No,
works.
okay.
That's not how it works, Jeff.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
But that was my only
But
complaint, and I had a lot of fun. The time really passed by. It made me feel pretty smart because I didn't lose at all, so that made me feel pretty good about
that was
myself.
what I was going to ask is, did you die? Because this game is roguelike.
Okay, so that's my other big complaint about this game is if you lose and you die, you start all the way back over. So I did not lose and I did not die. And I'm pretty sure that if I did and I had to start all the way over, that I just quit. That I just wouldn't play the game anymore. Because there's something to me about progression. Like, I did it. I went past this. Like, I beat this person. And so just take that all away and then have to do it all over again is very frustrating. And I really don't like that.
I get frustrated with roguelikes. I think I like there's roguelikes and rogue lights. Basically the difference is in a roguelike, when you die, you carry nothing over. You start over at the beginning. With a rogue light with a T, you carry some stuff from run to run. So if you have a really good run, you'll carry over some things that you got in that run to the next one. And I think that for me is a little less punishing. And like you, I don't have the kind of time to keep redoing things all on games. So I'm not a huge fan of roguelikes in general, but which is I do like card games though.
Yeah, I know. That's it. It's a really, really. I did not know that starting to play this game, so I was enjoying myself until I found that out, and I was like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure that if I died, I'd just give up." I really hate like Dark Souls, Demon Souls, like the fucking worst. It's so hard to progress, and then you have to start all the way over. It just feels like it takes away all of your achievement. I hate it. So
Well, it's a good thing you didn't die.
yeah.
Now, what I was going to ask though, is the card game satisfying enough that if they were to release a physical version of the card game, like a real life, card game, would you get into it, or would you just play
No.
Magic?
Yeah, it's just I mean it's basic. You have like a certain amount of card. And the whole thing that I do like about it is that you can upgrade your own cards. So you have like 10 cards. You take ability from one and add it to another set of like 10 cards. So being able to customize your cards in that way, which I think would be a lot harder to do in a physical card game. But
Yeah.
it's really not anything special in terms of card games. I really don't think there's anything super unique about it, but I do really enjoy card games and I do like the creepy setting and I do like that they mix it with puzzles and stuff like that. So I think it's a great video game, but I don't know that it would really translate over to be anything special in a physical card game.
Well, what are you going to rate it, Jen?
Well, I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it a 9 asterisk.
9 as long as you don't die.
Yes, it's a 9 as long as I don't die. And then if I die, I am never going to play it ever again. I really.
Would if you die, would that be so bad that it would like change your rating significantly?
I am serious that if I continue to play this game, if I die, I will probably just stop playing the game. Be like, well, that's real life. My character died. That's it. End of the game. I just, especially, you get so far. And like I said, I barely won some of those games. And I was so proud of myself. I was like yelling and screaming, and I was like, I did it. And so if you die, you just take that all away. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Makes me
Yeah.
sad.
So can you save your progress?
No.
So there's no saves either. So you played for
Well, I
4
don't
hours.
know. I didn't try to save it. I just played.
So
So
if you ever go back to play it again, are you gonna have to start from the beginning?
I don't know. I didn't everybody said yes. So I did not save it before I
Okay,
quit the
apparently it
game.
saves your spot automatically.
Oh, okay. So hi Vivian.
Well, so
But
that's good.
yeah, save on quit type of. Oh, see,
Oh, okay, good.
David was a big help with me during that game. That was nice. A lot of people had played it before, so they were gently encouraging me. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I would recommend playing it, but I will, if I die, I'll probably just give up. So,
Okay, so fans of Jen, uh, have another suggestion for a game that she can pick up as soon as she dies in Inscryption, so that she has
well,
something else to play.
the
I
point of
guess
this
you have something coming up.
Star Wars The Old Republic, the new expansion is coming out on the 15th. They are completely changing the combat, and I'm very curious to see what they do for that. So I'm going to pick the game back up once they do that. And hopefully it's not so terrible that it makes me not want to, because I'm really banking on this being a game that I stream a lot. So I really hope it's good and I don't hate it.
Speaking of Star Wars, today's episode of Book of Boba Fett was something. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
How are you liking the show in general?
Less than the Mandalorian. I'm still liking it. It's fine, but the Mandalorian overall is much better. So if you weren't a fan of the Mandalorian, then you're probably not going to be a fan of Book of Boba. Although a lot less Baby Yoda
Oh, yeah.
in Book of Boba, and that's what you hated about Mandalorian, right? So
That's not what I hated about it. That's why I refused to even watch it.
right.
Yeah. So I didn't even get to the hate point. I didn't even give it a chance because of that.
Yeah, I think you should give it a chance still, but that's just me. I named my dog after him. His name's Mando.
Mando. Where is he?
He's down here on the floor next to me.
So how many episodes are into the Book of Boba Fett?
We're 6 episodes into the show right now. And I think that I can't remember how many episodes it's going to be. 8, 10, something like that. Not too many episodes more.
Is it serious? Is it silly? What's the general?
It's serious. It's not silly.
Oh,
Neither
okay.
was the Mandalorian. Very much not silly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is Star Wars. I think I wish you would watch more of the shows. Maybe not the early episodes of Clone Wars, but for the most part, Star Wars doesn't do silly like the same way they do in like the MCU or other things like that.
I have tried to watch the Clone Wars a couple of times, but I never get very far. It's just
It's
pretty boring.
I think my problem with the Clone Wars at the beginning was that it was very much like a show for children. And then somewhere along the way, they kind of realized, well, yeah, we've been making the show for children, and that's fine. But like 90% of our audience are grown adults watching a kid show, so we can make it a little more mature, make it closer to regular Star Wars, which again is made for children, but it's also, you know, not completely without violence and stuff like that. Because I mean, there's a lot of dismemberment and things like that
Oh, really?
in Star Wars. Well, in Star Wars,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you meant in specifically the Clone Wars.
I mean, there's a fair bit of it in Clone Wars too, but
Oh.
not at the early on. It gets a bit more mature. Is basically what it boils down to. And the last season of Clone Wars is one of my favorite seasons of anything ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
But
But
you're
I'm a big
also
Star Wars fan.
a
I'm
huge
also a
Star
huge Star
Wars
Wars fan.
fan. Yeah.
Hints.
Yeah. His whole room.
But yeah, the other thing I've been playing recently is Pokemon Legends Arceus,
Oh,
the new
yes.
Pokemon
That's
game.
all
I'm
the
sure you've been
rage at the
hearing a lot of people
moment.
talking about that, and I'm
Yes.
loving that as well. I'm not sure I can ever go back to a regular Pokemon game.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because they change up the formula enough to I'm like, okay, this is the direction I want it to go.
The only complaint I've heard about it is that the first couple of hours are really hard to get through because it's such a very basic tutorial, and that lasts quite a while.
Yeah, probably a little long, but again, the same sort of thing with Star Wars. Pokemon, while a huge number of adults play it because they grew up with it, it is still a game made for children. So they have to spend a little more time in tutorial than I think you would see in even Breath of the Wild. Like didn't have nearly as much tutorial. Like
I
Breath of the Wild's tutorial was like 10 minutes, and then it's like, okay, here's the world, have fun.
That's what I did hear it people comparing it to it's like Pokemon meets Breath of the Wild.
There are some significant similarities. Uh, Not so much the puzzles stuff so far, but I haven't gotten too crazy far into it, so we'll see.
Is that
So
a
that's what I'm
Switch
doing.
only game?
Mm-hmm.
How are you streaming it?
I haven't been streaming it.
Oh.
I've just been playing that for me,
No.
but I have been streaming other things.
Yeah. You've seen you posting on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. And on that note, if you are looking to find people to follow, if you haven't already followed Jennifer, she's on Twitter. You can see right beneath her at Jennifer Van Damsel
That
on Twitter,
that's my
or Jen Van
Twitch.
Damsel, Jen Van Damsel on Twitter, and I'm at Good Game Grizz on Twitter and Twitch. So feel free to follow us there. Most of my tweets are notifications about that I'm streaming, but sometimes I'll say fun things. And obviously, Jennifer's tweets are, great content.
Yeah. Great content.
We will say content.
Yes, yes. We'll just use the word content. Lots of big content.
But yeah, do you have anything else you want to let people know about, Jen?
Um, I don't know. I'm gonna be streaming on Friday. I don't know what yet. I'm doing a Star Wars themed Valentine's Day shoot because the new expansion comes out on the 15th, and of course, Valentine's Day is on the 14th. But I'm gonna do a little shoot with Banjo. I'm gonna make him a little collar so he can be Chewbacca. So
Nice.
I might do that on stream on Friday, or I might play more Inscryption, or maybe both. We'll see. Content.
Her content will make you content.
Wow, I like it.
Yeah.
But
So, who are you going to be in this? If he's Chewbacca, if Banjo's Chewbacca, are you Han?
no, I just have like I'm trying to use stuff that I have at home. So I have this really cute R2D2 sweater. And it's supposed to be like a Valentine's Day card. John helped me with this actually. It's gonna say, "You are too cute." So just gonna have a little sign. Yeah, I know, it's so cute.
More wordplay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to do a cute little shoot of me and Banjo. Hopefully that goes okay. He's never really sat in front of the camera before, and
Have
especially
you ever done shoots with the other dogs?
I did do a Christmas card. I think like 2 years ago. The problem with that is my other dogs are older, and so getting them in my studio, getting them to sit in front of the light, getting them to look at the camera. Guinness was drooling everywhere. So I did get a cute picture of her, and like you can just see drool like dripping out of her face. But yeah,
Moose would be a very good Chewbacca. He's literally the same height as Chewbacca. He's that tall.
well, I want to do a Velma, and then Moose can be Scooby Doo, and Banjo can be Scrappy Doo.
Oh, nice. That would be good.
That'll be good. I know.
Plus, if I remember correctly, your Velma was quite popular.
Yes, I always get requests to. It's been a while since I've done a Velma, so I actually started getting props. Velma is definitely going to happen this year. I have some cool props, a cool background idea, and then of course my Scooby and Scrappy. It'll be
So if
great.
you're hearing this and you haven't already followed, Jen Van Damsel on Twitter and other places, what are you waiting for? I mean, how
Yeah,
can you not be excited about this content?
it's so exciting. I don't. I'm working on a new costume right now, but I haven't announced it yet. Oh yeah. So I guess announcement. I'm going to be at a convention in Miami on the 27th. So I don't remember what it's called. It's my friend. My friend Mark Fornaris is throwing it. What is it called? Let me see. I want to say maybe it's just called the Miami Con. I'll post about it. I'll post about it on Twitter and stuff once it kind of gets closer. But I am making costumes specifically for that, and it's going to be an interesting twist on a classic character. It's kind of one of my favorite things to do. I haven't started posting progress. It's still kind of a secret, so be looking for that really soon. Are we playing games on Friday together?
We haven't officially planned anything, but I'm not opposed to the idea.
Okay, well, that's fine with me.
What do you? We'll come up with something.
Yeah, you're the game expert. You'll have to find some cool party games for us. Hey, you were great with Pummel Party. That was a great suggestion.
Okay, and you did actually have fun with Pummel Party?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was worried it was going to be like golf with your friends, and
well, that I was terrible at. But I will say the one time that I beat Ryan, somebody clipped it, and you can just see my little guy going through the obstacle course, and I am really just screaming so excited.
You can hear me saying how no one ever beats Ryan at this game, and then you're beating him.
Yes, that was a highlight of my life there in that moment, so I hope we get to do more of that.
Oh, Bob, you would absolutely love to see how terrible Jen was at golf with your friends.
Well, John suggested that apparently like a lot of people can play golf with friends together. Mm-hmm. So that should be a game we stream at some point, so that way we can try to get a lot of people to play with
viewers involved.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
And you can just see how absolutely terrible I am at that game. It makes me curse a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, I cursed a lot. And that's saying something for me. Yeah. I think like every other word was just like, God damn it.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's not an exaggeration.
Between every stroke.
Well, I'm not good, and you gotta do the pressure, and you gotta pull it back, and then you gotta aim, and then sometimes you don't do it hard enough, or you do it too light, and it's just, I'm not good at it.
So some of those courses are ridiculous. I did okay, and I think I was still over par at the end of it. I won both rounds that we played, but I was still over par on the course because those courses are not easy.
Yeah, that space one was really hard.
Jen went like 8 holes in a row with 14 strokes.
I just don't have patience, I just keep doing it until I get it in the hole. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Anyways, I just keep hitting the ball until it goes in the hole without aiming necessarily. There's no way to work that.
Yeah, somebody clipped that. Somebody clipped that.
Gosh.
Well, so then that's another reason to pay attention to Jen's Twitter, or mine for that matter as well. We'll let you guys know what we're going to play on Friday.
Yeah. What time do you want to play on Friday?
We will need to discuss that later.
All right. Well, then make sure you're following us so that way you get the updates.
I don't have Fall Guys on PC because I got it when it was all the craze on PlayStation Plus, but I would consider getting Fall Guys on PC so that I could play it with Jen.
I don't know what Fall Guys is.
It's a game that you are sure to be terrible at, but
great.
Everybody is.
Is that the point of the game?
So like it's sort of like a battle royale obstacle course. You start the first obstacle course. And it's you and I can't remember. It's like 64 total players or something like that, and you're all racing through the same race, and only the first 32 get to move on to the next stage. And then and then the next one and the next one. They're different mini games where they eliminate more and more people until there's just like 3 people or 2 people left for the last mini game. Stuff like that.
I will be out the first round every time.
And then we just start another game.
Well, what if you make it?
Then you watch me.
Oh. My whole stream's going to be me watching you play.
don't know. I'm not very good at that game either.
Oh, really? You're
It's
pretty good. You're pretty good at most of the games we play together.
A lot of it's luck. Like seriously, a lot of it is, you just have to get fortunate that you're paired with, because some of them are team. Like they'll eliminate an entire team of people. Like 16 people get eliminated all at once because they're on the losing team. It is a lot of fun, and there are, I can count the number of people I would actually say are good on my fingers, like people that I know. Yeah, like it is very much about luck, and some people, like the people who are good, all end up being total trolls. I know one guy on a YouTube channel I watch, his name's Snowbike Mike. He's on Kind of Funny. He would just race till the end, like the goal line, and he doesn't care about being the first one across because he knows he's gonna win anyways. So he just waits at the goal line and then like tackles people and pushes them and pulls them out of the way so that they can't get across, just to mess with people. So like the people who are really good, they're the trolls.
I don't know. I'll play it. We'll try it.
We'll give it a go.
We'll give it a go.
I like Fall Guys.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch you win. I'll root for you.
Big Smelly Bob's exactly right. If you're good, you can still get shoved clean off an edge by someone panicking. If you're bad, you can be the person who just punted the MVP.
Oh, maybe that will. Okay, so maybe I'll be so bad I'm good.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm down for that for sure.
The thing is, like, even if you never actually win a complete round, the mini games are all fun. Oh. So, well, almost all of them are fun. So some of them are a little less fun. Sometimes it's like, oh my god, this one again. But most of them are like, yes, I love this one.
In Pummel Party, we did not repeat any of the mini games. How many mini games are there? I
don't know. I know that when we played the second round of them, we did repeat some of them again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 100% better with friends. Pummel Party and Fall Guys. But yeah, so that's something to look forward to. Maybe we'll play that on Friday.
We'll see. We'll talk about it.
Okay. All right. Until next time, thank you for joining us on If You Ask Me.
Bye, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Next show, remember, we're every other Wednesday. So, the next show will be on the 16th. So I will definitely be talking about Star Wars: The Old Republic. Are you planning on playing that, Jeff?
I am waffling because, I get in cycles with that game. Like every couple of years I come back to it and I play it a lot for a couple of weeks and then I stop again. So I'm wondering if I should just not bother.
Have you ever completed an entire class campaign?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm nervous. Now it's like 6 expansions that I'm going to have to go through. And I'm starting all the way over at level 1 to play the whole... That's what I'm saying. Hopefully I really like it, so it'll be the game that I stream, so it will just kind of be like one continuous story, like a TV show or a movie or something. Get the whole entire story. So I'm really hoping the combat, because it's my favorite style of game. Knights of the Republic is my favorite game, and I love Mass Effect and Dragon Age, so we'll see. We'll see.
I'm hopeful for you, Jen. I hope it'll be everything you want and more.
Thanks. Well, we'll talk about it on the 16th.
All right, cool.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. See you later. Thanks for hanging out. See you Friday. See you Friday for our stream on Friday. Okay.